This is Steve Allen's A Little Bit Extra, leading Britain's conversation. You're listening to our podcast of Steve Allen.
Morning, everybody. Welcome along to your free podcast for today, Friday, August the 26th. What's good about Friday? Nothing. It's the weekend. Oh, the Reading Pop Festival. Did you see the pictures? The pictures today in the paper. All these poor drowned little rats with all their little tents and their Wellington boots. Every time and why do they move the date? Because every time they have the Reading Festival, the heavens open and they all get absolutely drenched. And so these poor little lovies, who are said because they're all terribly upmarket. You won't find anybody working class going to the Reading Festival. Not at 260 quid a ticket. You know, it can only appeal to the Lavinias and Sebastians and people like that, and Dexter and things like that. But you won't find anybody from sort of anywhere north of the border, even though they've got the same one on at Leeds. But I did look at the pictures and I did think, oh, we did predict it. But it was great yesterday. I loved it. The rain came down. I was very happy. Filled up the watered the plants again this morning. Looking really lovely at the moment. But you can see they're on the way out because normally by the time you get to the end of August, September is where baskets have given up and stuff like that. So that's actually quite normal. Some buffoon said to me, oh, you should only tom right once a month. Quite clearly not knowing anything about gardening at all. That's why my baskets and tubs and boxes are the things of inspiration for a lot of people. Richard Blackwood, he was on EastEnders. I'm not even sure if he's still on. He might still be on it. I don't know. I've not seen it for ages. Oh, no, he finished in 2018. And so he's always been sitting there, and they put him on Celebrity MasterChef, which doesn't help if nobody knows who you are, because he only spent 3 years on EastEnders, and that's not really enough to sort of ingratiate yourself to the public. But anyway, he says due to the stress over the recipes, what they've actually got to do on all these programmes is A, try and convince you that these people really are celebrities, and B, they have to try and get something interesting out of them, like a recipe, and they cook or they create this and cook. But he actually said he got nightmares. Stressing out. So what was he on there for? Money. They're all on there for money. They're only doing it for money. Ewan McGregor, he's something a bit iffy, said to play a Russian aristocrat in A Gentleman in Moscow. He finds himself on the wrong side of history. He's only 51. I thought by now he'd have sort of aged a little bit more, but he's only 51. And the film is set in about the 1920s, I think, 1923 or something like that. Jennifer Lopez, talking about the honeymoon with Ben Affleck, and she's a little bit older than he is. She's 53 and he's 50, and so they've tied the knot. They also had the other day the funeral of Darius. They had that in Glasgow, so they flew his body back from America, and about 100 people turned up, which is quite nice. We're still waiting. They've obviously done an autopsy because they wouldn't release the body if they hadn't done an autopsy. You can't just sort of take somebody out of the country and then bury them whilst they're trying to find out what was the matter with him and why he sort of died suddenly, whether it was an aneurysm or, you know, we think he was being treated by the hospital over the road from the block of flats which he was renting, or they were renting for him. We haven't quite worked it out, but a lot of people from hospitals stay in these flats. Because in America, you have to pay for hospitalisation. They don't have an NHS service, which is something that we have, and it works fantastically well for us. Rihanna and her boyfriend, Rocky, holding hands after a date night out. The trouble is, they're going for a night out, and she's wearing dark glasses. She must have spent all of her time walking into walls. I mean, you can't see a thing on if you're wearing dark glasses at night time. But apparently, it's sort of the kind of thing that people go, oh, that means you're a celebrity. So I'm going to start wearing sunglasses at night. I've decided it, although driving the car would be an absolute nightmare. Ben Affleck's friend says the actor has never been happier than he's now with Jennifer Lopez because they worked hard to make the relationship work. She had a fabulous dress, which probably cost an arm and a leg, although I should imagine it was probably a freebie, because most of these celebrity weddings, the clothes, it's like going to the Oscars. Apparently they have a big, like an aircraft hangar with all the designer dresses on there. You go and pick out the one you want, and if it gets photographed when you're on the red carpet, that gives them basically hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of publicity, which they revel in. So they give them the frocks. Costs nothing to give somebody a frock. The fact it might sell for 28,000 is neither here nor there. You'll probably find it costs less than 500 to actually make. Caitlyn Jenner runs into the ex Chris again at Kylie's party. I don't know if this is... sorry. I don't know if this is... excuse me, Kylie as in Minogue, or if it's somebody else. Because they say, is it Kylie Minogue? Oh, Kardashian. Oh. It's a cosmetic launch at a place called Ultra Beauty in Westwood, which I didn't really know about. But it was quite nice to see Caitlyn Jenner there and Kris Jenner and everybody. And as I say, just another launch in Hollywood. It's just another load of cosmetics, and they sell them. Because I noticed that poor old Victoria Beckham, she launched cosmetics, but the trouble is she's never been known for her overuse of makeup and cosmetics, and the company lost the cosmetic side over £5.5 million. Her clothing business is £54 million in debt. I mean, I said before, in fact I've been saying it for about the past 5-10 years, don't open a shop. Nobody will go in it, which of course has been proven. So, do it all mail order. So much easier. So much easier. You don't go into boutiques and find all these other fashion labels in there. They do it mail order. That way you cut down on the overheads. It's much better. And then Victoria made another big mistake. She decided to launch a range of clothes for plus-size figures. Having sort of been selling to the stick insects out there, now she decides that maybe I've screwed it up and got it wrong. But as somebody pointed out to her, I think one of the fashionistas with a column in one of the daily papers, saying, listen, you can't just go, let's make a plus-size range and just, and so one of them is a jumper, but it's £500. That's the thing that's killed Victoria Beckham's business. It's not because people don't like the clothes, it's because the prices are ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. But as I say, she won't be told. But she has apparently asked Dave again if he can help prop up the business. So she's had 2 bailouts and another prop up, and it's still losing money. Close the shop. I mean, she had to get rid of the driver who was on literally 24 hours to get her there and back and all the rest of it. They had flowers delivered every day, fresh flowers, and a lot of staff standing around twiddling their thumbs. Close it down, love. You're not going to win this battle. All of a sudden, people are not going to go, oh, I must go and get some Victoria Beckham clothes. It doesn't work like that. You either hit straight away or you don't hit straight away. Angelina Jolie, flaunting her taut tummy. She's very slim. She's 47. I'm of the opinion, though, certain people, and it's mainly Americans, they're all slim because they're just naturally slim people. They don't have to work at it. It's because they are naturally slim people. And you see them. I mean, if you think Victoria Beckham looks thin in photographs, you want to see her in real life. I mean, she's really, thin. Very thin. And Angelina Jolie, who, of course, is... I think they're about the same age, 47. I know Victoria's heading up to 50. She won't like that at all. Arnie Schwarzenegger looks enraged as he films the series UTAP in Canada. He's 75. I mean, there's got to get to that stage where you sort of go... I don't know, is this still working? But apparently he's the lead in this Netflix series UTAP, which is based on his hit film True Lies, in which he starred with Jamie Lee Curtis. They call him a former bodybuilder, but that was donkeys years ago. Gwyneth Paltrow handing over car keys to her son Moses, who's 16. Can you drive at 16 in America? I wasn't sure, actually. But apparently she shares the son. I mean, he looks a little bit like a child. Well, he is. He's 16. So they sort of went out. Now, whether or not he was actually driving it or he was allowed to... when you're young, you always want to go and sit in the car on the drive. There you go. So at least 16 years old, the minor's driver's licence requirements. There you go. I've had a California instruction permit... or an instruction permit from another state for at least 6 months. And you have to prove that you completed both driver education and driver training. So basically you've taken a test and you can drive. I think it looks a bit frightening. When I was young, we were allowed to sort of, if we were going out for the weekend or something like that, the thrill was going into the car, starting the engine up and just sitting there pretending you were driving. And that was about as far as it went. Davina McCall doesn't age. She's doing an outdoor workout. She's got a DVD coming out, I can promise you that. The difference is, everything she does, she stands by. She's not one of these, give me £150,000 and I'll lose a load of weight with one of these sort of boot camps, make the DVD, and then we'll be fine. They all did it. Scarlett Moffat did it, and then piled on the weight afterwards, because they don't look on it as a lifestyle. And it is a lifestyle change. Davina McCall lives by this. If you look at what she eats, it certainly isn't what the rest of us eat. She's very good. How much are Coldplay tickets on Ticketmaster for the 2023 tour? I mean, they had 6 sold-out shows at Wembley Stadium. They've announced more European dates for summer 2023, and ticket prices start at £27.50 and go up to £240. And because of the unprecedented demand, they can afford to get that money. Standing tickets are £104.50. That's for standing. No chance I'll be doing that. But I do like George Ezra's new single, The Green, Green Grass and the Blue, Blue Sky. I'm up with it. I think it's great. Although everybody I've spoken to goes, oh, it's such crap lyrics. And I go, yeah, but it's a sing-along thing, isn't it? His last one, I'll be riding shotgun. When you watch them all at Glastonbury singing along, I could see them singing along to The Green, Green Grass and the Blue, Blue Sky. And I just thought it was quite good, actually. He doesn't want to be a pop star. He sort of opted out of that side of it. But it seems to, listen, it works for him. And he's done very, very well. Whether or not we put him in at some other festivals, I've got no idea. Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond and James May race around the Arctic Circle for the Grand Tour. I've been inside the Arctic Circle. Winter. Bloody freezing. I can't tell you how cold it is. I cannot tell you. It is even cold. We had -30 on one day. -30. Everything freezes. Hairs in your nose, hairs in your ears. It's just a nightmare. And even though the skidoos that they give you to whiz about on the snow have got heated handlebars, it doesn't make one scrap of difference. Oh, by the way, I knew I was going to mention something to you. My 2 shows at the Magic Circle on the 30th of December. First one's gone, which is the afternoon show. That's all sold out. And there's some tickets left for the evening performance, which I think is at 7 p.m. So if you'd love to come along, we would love to see you. Just go to @SteveAllenShow, and then you'll find the links there, which will take you to the ticket company. Maya Jama's definitely trying to sort of get a gig, because at the moment she doesn't really have anything. She's sort of fanning around. It's a case of they've compiled this so-called shortlist of people to replace Laura Whitmore. And as one of the TV critics said today, he said Laura Whitmore said she's going back to her journalistic roots. And the TV critic said, listen, those early morning paper rounds are going to kill you. But I loved it. I was trying to find out what I thought Laura Whitmore's journalistic roots were. Certainly wouldn't have involved writing anything, because, I mean, her presentational skills were a bit thin. Maya Jama is called a TV presenter, but I don't really know what she does, actually. But they're saying, oh, she's the one who's sort of favourite. I mean, she's gone out with a photographer, and they've taken a picture, like we get them here in Leicester Square. Any of the girls who work on the radio stations, they have photographers that come with them. They get out of the car and they take pictures of them. It's been going on for donkey's years. And Harry Styles' accent leaves fans baffled in a new clip from Don't Worry Darling. He has gone from ordinary little pretty boy band to megastardom. He's playing in America. People talk about him on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. They talk about Harry Styles. He's a sex symbol. People absolutely love him. The other members of the band must be absolutely wetting themselves, I should imagine, thinking, I wish we could have been as successful as Harry Styles, because he's hugely, hugely successful. But if you think his accent's a bit wrong, find the one of Victoria Beckham talking. She's sort of tried to go all posh. And she's really, I think she's talking about her makeup on YouTube, and she's sort of adopted this sort of fake, quasi upper-class British accent, whereas we all know she's like, what are you doing? You know, she's a bit like that. Somebody, the fans were writing in. Peter Andre says that his daughter is the most beautiful woman in the entire world. I think that's stretching a point a little bit, but, you know, and believe it or not, Mummy, Katie Price, has jetted off on yet another holiday. I think this is her 10th this year. It's not bad for a bankrupt, is it? Wish I was bankrupt. My goodness me. 10 holidays in a year. And, as I say, who she's gone with, God knows. I think she's taken her son with her. Not sure if the second-hand car salesman's there. But I keep saying, and I shall stand by it, she was on the television more than 2 years ago with her mother, who's terminally ill, saying, my mum's terminally ill, I need to get married soon so mum can see me get married again. Well, she's still not married and her mother is still with us. So, you know, something's going right somewhere. Perhaps the trick is don't get married. Don't get married. She was the one who, incidentally, didn't finish with Peter Andre, but she said he was the love of my life. Yeah, because it was the only one where they dumped you, dear. That was the only reason. And it was interesting because Peter Andre's never said a word about it. He's always just kept very stum. and dealt with it in that way, whereas she likes the publicity. They've stopped filming on the mucky mansion because it really is still filthy inside. So they've had to stop filming until they get a company in to clean it so that they can then start doing the decorating. I mean, to be honest with you, stretching a point is... Have you seen the mucky mansion? The local council are about to fine her £20,000 because there's all this rubbish in the fields there. And they've said, we've told you over the years, clear it up, but you know, Katie Price, she thinks she knows best. But unfortunately, not right up until now. Bankrupt, drink driver, 6 times banned, you know. Basically, she's a failure. So as long as the daughter doesn't follow her down that line, we should be fine. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it because it's bank holiday. So there'll be loads of things going on, like trying to avoid puddles and stuff like that. And I'll be back with you on Monday morning at the same time. Until then, stay safe.
Leading Britain's conversation. LBC.